Hey, Ted here. Congratulations, you're still with me. By now you've gone through the first 4 videos and you've got a pretty good understanding of why humans just aren't that good with money. You've got a better understanding of how you think and feel about money and why your feeling brain is in charge, often to the expense of your checkbook. I also introduced the concept that you are self-employed, that you're in charge of your own outcome. You're accountable and responsible for everything that happens and does not happen. You're the boss of you. I also introduced the money behavior system as an approach to help you better understand money, how you think and feel about money, and to give you a methodology to start making better money choices. So let's jump right into it. Step one is your money values. Your money values is the foundation of the money behavior system. Now, I do not have time in this video to go over all of everything. It's covered in the book in chapter 5 in detail with a number of exercises and drills to help you truly sit down and determine your money values. What I hope to do here in this video is give you a taste of what you need to start thinking about with regard to money values and how money values are different than goal setting. So again, the foundation of the money behavior system is money values. Discovering your money values is much more important and very different than traditional goal setting. Traditional goal setting is usually about how to set up a timeline and a plan to accomplish a thing. Buy a car, buy a house, send your kids to college, a retirement plan. It's usually about stuff and it's very linear. Yeah, this stuff is important to you, but it's designed to help you achieve a thing. Money values is much more inclusive and much deeper and much more emotional. Money values is anything and everything that's important to you in life that costs money. And the key point is, if it doesn't happen, it's going to cause you emotional pain. Let me say that again. Money values are the most important things in your life that cost money, and if it's not achieved, it will cause you emotional pain. So let's go through a little exercise on what I mean by money values and help you define your money values. Money values, think of them as your big V values. They're the intangible, feeling, state of mind things that are important to you. It may be a secure lifestyle. It may be giving back to your university. It may be a legacy, being known. It's something broader than usually just stuff. Your little v values are usually things. So let's keep it very simple. What is important about money to you? Is it having stuff or leaving a legacy? Is it having stuff or being respected? Is it having stuff or you fill in the blank? We are emotional beings. Money is emotional. We buy and spend to satisfy our emotional needs. If we didn't, everybody would drive the same car, everybody would wear the same clothing, there would be very little differentiation because we would just need the basics. Let me give you an example. A car is transportation. At the very basic level, it's designed to take you from point A to point B efficiently, effectively, and safely. And if you are absolutely thinking brain in your money and you only valued transportation, you would buy the least expensive, no frills automobile you could find at the lowest cost. And that would be adequate to provide transportation. But look around when you're driving. Most people have an automobile and it's really part of their personality. It's a reflection of who they are. It's a reflection of their values. Now, I'm not judging. All I'm saying is be aware. Think about it. When you're driving around, when you see somebody in a very expensive sports car, is that a reflection of who they are? Do they really need an expensive sports car? I don't know. That's their choice. I'm not judging. What does your automobile, your car say about you? Is that a reflection of your values? Or is it just basic transportation? It's probably a little of each because we usually have limited resources to buy the car that we really like, but it is a statement. That's what I mean by money values. You have big V values, you have little v values. Your big V values are usually more intangible. They usually have to do more with self-worth and feelings and state of mind. Little v values to me are things. They're tangible. What you need to get your head around is how you set priorities with your spending and your values. Unfortunately, it's very easy to get into this day-to-day little v spending to squander a lot of our money on things that in the long run really don't mean much. And by the time you figure out that you really weren't achieving your most important values, it's often too late to correct. Let me give you an example. Let's say you tell me your most important value in life is to have a comfortable retirement with a place that everybody can come back as a family and reconnect, and it's a bonding place. And from there you want to pass on your values that you think are important to you and the culture of your family to your children, grandchildren, and be remembered as the touchstone and leave a legacy. Wow. That's a Hallmark movie. But I ask you to do something else. Take a look at your checkbook, your bank statement, and your calendar. Does how you're currently spending and the things you're buying, do those priorities, will they get you to that house in the country and the Hallmark Channel? Do you see what I mean? In other words, it's nice to say, I would like to be able to do X and leave money to Y as a legacy so I will be remembered. I'd like to give back to my university. I'd like a wing at a hospital named after me. My gosh, I'd like to have my name on a brass plaque to put in the locker room of my favorite football team. It doesn't matter what it is. But this is a emotional state of mind that's important to you, and it takes money to accomplish this. That is different than said, I need a new car. I want a new bike. I need new clothes. So when I say what is important about money to you, it is a requirement on your part to delve a little bit deeper as to why you're buying what you're buying, to figure out why it's important and how does it fit into the grand scheme of things. And if you can answer that question, and it's important not only to you now, it's important emotionally, and it fits into the grand scheme of things, which is your broader financial plan, then go ahead and buy it. If it doesn't, you've got to question if that purchase makes sense. Now, this is complicated stuff, and it's much clearer in the chapter of the book. And it's not the way you go through the planning process with most financial planners. I mean, as a financial planner, I was taught to do goal planning. Give me one or two things that are really important to you. Tell me what they cost today, and I'll tell you how much you have to set aside on a monthly basis at a given rate of return, and I guarantee in 15 years you'll have enough money to do something. That's different than what's important about money. For example, let's go back into a house buying situation. You need to buy a house, and you go in and you call up a realtor, and usually the first thing they're going to ask you is, well, what's your budget? What kind of house do you want? And where do you think you want it? Pretty straightforward. But what they should be asking is, what is important about a house to you? And it's not square footage. It's not the color of the paint. It is not those superficial things that may be descriptive to define a house, but that's not where the value comes. The value is what's important in a house. To me, I want to have security. What's important about security to you? I want a place where my children are going to be safe. What's important to have my children safe? Because I don't want to have to worry about them. I want them to be able to be comfortable. They can walk to and from school, that they'll be able to have friends, that I don't have to worry about that. Well, what's important about not worrying about your children? Because I want them in a school system that is going to give them some of the things I didn't have. What's important about giving your children the things you didn't have? I want them to be better prepared than I was when I entered into adult life. What's important about having them better prepared? Because I want them to be self-sufficient. What's important about having them be self-sufficient? Well, they're not going to come back and live in my basement. Okay? You see where I'm going here? The reason the house is important, it's not the paint, it's not the brick. It is the location, and it's the opportunity to sustain a set of values that are important to that family. What's important about a house? It's not the house, it's what it means, what it gives to you. So a value discussion is incredibly different. And you have to be able to have this value discussion because achieving most of your values will cost money. Let me say that again. Achieving most of your values will in fact cost money, require sacrifice, and require you making choices. Likewise, many of your values are in the future, sometimes a great distance in the future. Things, on the other hand, are tangible. They usually depreciate and they fall apart. Intangible, small, little value things are boats and cars and clothes and things like that. It's disposable. Yes, they do reflect who you are. They're important to you. They do reflect your values and your culture. But if you lost your car, that's a little different. So you see where I'm going here? Money values are what is truly important about money to you. If it's not achieved, it will cause you significant emotional pain. And many of your values with regard to money are a reflection of you, what you fundamentally feel most important, and often revolve around things like family and legacy and causes and events that you feel greatly about that are important to you. And yes, it can be leaving some money to your favorite college football team. See, the thing about money values is that we don't judge. They're up to you. And I know when I go through the values drill with a lot of my clients, or I used to in the past, it was not unusual to get a couple of people in the room teary because they've never had this level of discussion about money and what's important about life and money to them. And it wasn't unusual to have the two people I was talking to look at each other and go, I didn't know that was important to you. Which is different than I want a new car. So to help you go through this, number one, I highly recommend you read Chapter 5. Chapter 5 will go into this much more depth, but I want to go through a quick exercise with you using this tape as an example. And once you go through this video and go through the drill that I'm going to describe here in the next minute or so, you should have a list that is a reasonable reflection of what is important about money to you. Then you're going to use this list to start building a strategy and a plan to make sure that whatever you're moving towards in your life, in your business of you, it is a reflection of what you believe is most important about money to you. No judging. It's your money. They're your values. So I ask you, break out a piece of paper and a pen, and we're going to go through an exercise. I will go through it quickly here. I will also ask you to pause the video from time to time so you can make your list. And then there's going to be a little exercise at the end. And you may have an oh my gosh moment because you're going to discover some things about yourself and money that you may not have realized that is going to put you probably in a different state of mind, which is important and which is critical to this drill because this is the critical piece of you determining where you go next. So, to begin with, quickly list the things you value in your life Yep, list the things you value in your life. Just make a list. No editorializing. There's no right or wrong answer. Just list the things that are important in your life. Put the video on pause. Okay, welcome back. Now, quickly list the things you want to accomplish or achieve in your life. Things you want to accomplish, things you want to achieve in your life. Pause. Welcome back. Now, quickly list the things you want to own or acquire in your life. Things you want to own or acquire. Pause. Quickly list what you want people to say about you and how you want to live your life. List how you want people to think about you, what you want people to say about you, and how you want to live your life. Pause. Now, write down how you'd like to live your life if money were not a problem. How would you like to live your life if money were not a problem? Pause. Okay, now we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at our list and we're going to analyze it. I want you to go over your list and identify the items that take money to support or accomplish whatever you have on your list. And just put a dollar sign next to those things on your list that cost money to accomplish. Pause. Now, go over all your lists and put a big V next to the big V values and a small v next to your small v values. The big V values are those things that are consequential, that have to happen. Not having money in retirement is different than not having the new fashions in fall. They're both important, but one is a big V value, the other is a small V value. Take your time and put a little thought into it. Big V value, a V next to the items that are critically important, small v next to those items that are not as important. Pause the video. Okay, finally, number your top 5 big V values and number your top 5 small v values. Put it on pause. Okay, welcome back. Take a look at your list. You should have 5 items from your list that really define what is important about money to you. These are your money values, your highest valued constructs that you live your life for. And you're moving in that direction. And if these things don't happen, it will cause you mental or emotional pain. You also have another list of 5 things that are small V items that are not as important. And if they don't happen, they may cause you temporary emotional pain, but it's not going to be anything nearly as significant as your big V values. What you have just put together is a values list for you. Your big V values reflect what is important about money to you. It reflects why you do what you do. It reflects the direction you're moving in your life. It reflects who you are, how you're going to run the business of you. And now I want you to do something else that could be a little scary and a little sobering. What I want you to do now is break out your bank statement and your calendar. And I want you to look at where you spend your time and how you spend your money. Now again, we're not going to judge and there's no value judgment here, but I want you to take a look at what you put on your list as your most important values. But now I want you to also look at your calendar and your bank statement because that's where you are actually spending your time and you're spending your money. And I bet you're going to find that there's a disconnect between how you're non-consciously valuing your time and money versus what you say is your biggest values with regard to time and money. It's not unusual to have a disconnect. If you look at your bank statement and your checking account and it says, I value eating out at fine restaurants all the time more than anything else that I have in my spending pattern. That's fine. That's your choice. You can go do that. But realize for most people, if you're spending all your money on dining out, that means that something else on your list is probably not going to be accomplished. And that means in the future, that is going to cause you emotional problems. Does that make sense? Let me use another example. I live in Augusta, Georgia. Golf is huge here. People spend an amazing amount of money playing golf. I don't begrudge that. That's fine. It's a great industry. It's a billion-dollar industry worldwide. People enjoy it, camaraderie, exercise, every good thing with it. But however, if all your money and time is going to golf at the expense of what you say is an important value of a college education for your children, or a retirement plan for you later in life, or having insurance for your family, or living in a secure, safe neighborhood, or even putting food on your on your table, that means you probably need to realign your values. Bottom line, what is important about money to you? You need to figure this out. Then you need to sit down and figure out, is the life you're leaving today, leadership, is that representative of where you want to be in the future? Will that support your money values? If it doesn't, something has to change. And it's okay. Most people are misaligned. And one of two things need to happen. You need to reset your values or reset your spending and your time. Usually it's a combination of both. So it's okay, don't judge, but you must have a money values discussion with yourself and reconcile any inevitable differences. But I also highly recommend you have this money discussion with the other people in your life that are important to you, because I bet dollars to donuts that your money values are different than the money values of the people that are most important in your life. That's okay. It's natural, but it's amazing that in most cases we never have this discussion. Money values, very, very important. Chapter 5 of the book. Highly recommend you buy the book simply to read this chapter. Have a great day.